do you think about when you think about Championship Sunday? How do you feel?
The prestige. That's my word. The P word, man. Just the fact that this is the ultimate Final Four. And you talked about it. We've talked about it all week long. This is not the Niners' first run like Detroit that's come out of nowhere. This is the fourth time in 5 trips. So just listening to Shasky, I get both sides to where he's like, we can't pull a Andy Reid or a Dallas Cowboy with Danny White in the 90s where they lost 3 straight NFC championship games. But Evan, I'm going to tell you this, I can't ignore that that's on the line. You know, you're at home, Kyle Shanahan, hey, we know his brilliance. If you think he puckered up or not last week, I'm still thinking about our conversation with Willard and Dibbs yesterday doing the crossover about, you know, what he was tired from. But I don't think anybody's wrong in the sense that they can't come out tight. They can't come out flat. And this is a moment to where Niner fans stick your chest out again. But now, Evan, it's just you got to punch that ticket and get to LV in 2 weeks. You got to.
And you got an opportunity, I think, as a fan to help improve those chances, to help this game. Like, if you're there at Levi's Stadium and you're cheering, like we were talking about it yesterday. On Saturday, that stadium was loud, and it was a dangerous environment for Packers. Right. It was a hostile environment. Like, Jordan Love was feeling the pressure down the stretch of that game, and it's something that you can absolutely get up. That's why you want to host this game. You don't want to go on the road and have to worry about silent counts, hard counts, all the things that could lead to a mistake here, a mistake there that could be the difference in this type of football game. And we'll break down the X's and O's. We'll get into what we think could be the key matchups, X factors, predictions, and all the rest. What about the boss's tweet, Evan? Real quick, not to cut you off. Oh, yeah.
What if you could tell Kyle Shanahan one thing before this game, what would it be? I'll tease it, Evan, but I got something for him. I would be like, you know what, Kyle? Let him hang. And you guys know, shout out planners. You know what I mean? Let him hang. Don't be tight. Like, what would you tell him? Just I know I'm throwing you on the spot, but come on, Kyle, let him hang. I don't think you let him hang last Saturday. You got away with it, but what would you tell Kyle if, hey, ball coach, let me say one thing to you.
I would say do what got you here. Trust in your players.
Damn.
I mean, we've seen him be himself in playoff games, but I'm saying do what's got you here this season. It's trusting Brock Purdy. It's running the rock. It's letting that defense eat. And it's playing like the better team because if you look up and down this roster, you stack the 54 men up against the Lions. Yes, the Lions got talent. They got Pro Bowlers. They got gunslingers. They got pass rushers. They got a good offensive line. They got all the rest. You're a better team than them at the end of the day. There's a reason why you're the 1 seed.
Okay, no doubt about it. We know anything can happen, Evan, but you are correct. Now, you got me to thinking real quick here about yesterday when I kept, and the thing for me on a personal standpoint this week has been, I've been kind of fixated, and I know we got Emmanuel Acho. What time, Evan?
11:45.
Okay, 11:45. So
also talked to a Super Bowl champ, KJ Wright, at 10:30.
He's always good. So we got those guys joining us. But, you know, I kind of was fixated on Wilkes, and you got me to thinking like, Kyle's the coach. And I was driving like, you know what? Evan is right. The reason I bring that up is, do you think this week Kyle stuck his head into the defensive meetings or has something to do with, hey, Steve, how you feeling? What are we coming out with? You know, do you think with all this on the line, Kyle might switch it up? And maybe he does that every week, Evan. I don't know. But if you were Kyle, after that performance last week, regardless, it was good enough to win, would you have some say-so about the plan of attack to unlock this D-line and have the secondary just do their job to where this team can beat Detroit, suffocate them in advance?
I mean, I don't know how much Kyle Shanahan's sticking his head in the defensive meetings, but I'm sure they're all talking together as coaches. Okay. As long as they're unified, if they're on the same page, I don't really care what the game plan is. As long as they are aligned, which did not seem to be the case for the entirety of the divisional round game, then I'm good with it. I don't want Shanahan meddling too much in places he doesn't need to be. Again, this is what I told you yesterday. If you didn't trust Steve Wilkes, why'd you bring him in the first place? If you didn't trust him to be a defensive coordinator that could be in a position to help you get to a Super Bowl, then you shouldn't have hired him. He shouldn't be in the building. Right. And you're the head coach. You got every single way to make a decision about that, and you did. You decided this was going to be the guy that was going to fall D'Amico Ryans, who followed Robert Saleh. You chose to hire outside of the building. Well, this is what you got. You got a top 3 defense. You got the highest paid defensive line in the NFL. You got an all-pro at the cornerback position. You got 2 all-pro potential linebackers. I think Dre Greenlaw should be one.
Yep.
You know, you got a secondary that sure got some holes, but you asked your defensive line to step up, and now it's about going out and doing it.
No, I love it, Evan, and we will find out, like you said, Nick Nolte, 48 hours away from finding out what 49er team we're going to watch try to advance to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, with that said, my tea leaves, I don't have any sources, Evan, but I do believe we'll see Debo. But what if I were to tell you I am so ultra confident in the Niners offense showing up that it's the defense side of the ball that, there's some trepidation there. And we'll know early, we'll know often if they've come to play. But I'm going to say this back to the offensive side of it. Evan, do you think I'm doing too much if I'm go Kevin Durant in regard to McCaffrey? When that game is over, he has to have a combined 35 touches. I don't care how you divvy it up, but you got to get 35 touches total for Christian McCaffrey. You say what to that?
I don't know if there needs to be a number, but there needs to be an awareness around McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's averaging 6 yards a carry, then yeah, 30 carries in that game might be good enough. The only thing I don't want us to come in on Monday, Goo, and say is, well, McCaffrey got 35 touches. Are you looking at Purdy like you looked at Jimmy G? That's a conversation I don't want to have because some people did it in 2019. It was supposed to be a celebration of them going to their first Super Bowl since the Harbaugh era, and all we could talk about was, well, does Kyle trust his quarterback? I think he trusts this quarterback. I think he trusts number 13. I didn't see it at the end of the first half against Green Bay. We saw a reason to trust him at the end of that game. I also don't think Brock Purdy is going to play like he did the first 3 quarters in which we were wondering what the hell was happening to him in front of our very eyes. I think Brock Purdy is going to have a bounce-back game. The question is it going to be good enough?
Wow, man.
I tend to lean yes.
No doubt. And Mother Nature has done them a favor. He won't have glove gate. Niner fans won't have to worry about that. But, Evan, it's all dependent on what type of sport fan you are. You keep asking me, and I've been just fixated with the fact that the championship game, it's like too many Super Bowls, right? And the Niners are here. But so much of sports, when you talk about the great ones, Brady, Patrick Mahomes, so much of sports and how we differentiate the greats is they perform on the biggest stages. And that's what we're about to see for young Brock Purdy, who didn't get the chance to do it last year in Philly because he got knocked out.
It's incredible, man. This is his second season, first season as a starter. He will have played in 2 NFC championship games.
Damn.
And I know that one technically goes down as a loss because he was starting in that game. But if Brock Purdy makes the Super Bowl, this guy will have, 4 wins in his first 2 seasons as a playoff starter. Not too many people could say that.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this. The movie will be written. Tobey Maguire would probably be the lead to play Brock in the movie.
You think so?
That's Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, but he played Spider-Man back in like 2002.
Somebody help me. We got to find. He is a little older now, but you get what I'm saying, Spadoni.
Timothy
There will be a script. I don't give a damn about how much
the new Spider-Man, Tom Holland. There you go.
Talk to me. But you know what I mean? Like, there's so much for Brock Purdy and his brand, and of course, he ain't worried about none of this stuff. But it'll be movie worthy, man. So that's at stake. The Niners to get their 6th ring, and also Kyle to kind of just cap off his brilliance as a ball coach. If you could kind of get this team to this victory Sunday, get to the Super Bowl, get a win, and then everything I told Steiny, he didn't scoff, but he's like, Goo, you got to start at first base. You got to, before you can get home, you got to get to first base. But it starts Sunday with a win to get to the Super Bowl, and if Brock can get him over the hump, I don't care, he did this or that, or who you think is the MVP. He's the QB, and he'll be the QB for a while if they win this Super Bowl, I believe, Evan.
I believe so. Look, I don't think this team is going anywhere, but it doesn't mean that there isn't urgency on this season because they have done some outstanding things from an offensive standpoint. They have been extremely solid as a defense as a whole over the course of this season. And that's the reason why they're in the Final Four. That's why they're in a position to go to another Super Bowl and to try and capture number 6, to try and bring it back to the Bay. And that's why all emotions, again, are on the table today as far as this show is concerned. If you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling excited, if it's a nervous excitement, I think a lot of people are feeling all of the above.
Yeah.
And that's the great part about football, right, is you go through that roller coaster of the ups and the downs within one play. And then you get 60 minutes of all of that. And that's why it's the best drug in the world, is because we're just going to be sitting there injecting the San Francisco 49ers into our veins for 60 minutes on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's what we did last Saturday night, just to go back to it, because it was a roller coaster. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're telling me all the different junctures in my mind that game had to where it looked like it just might not be their night. And your boy Brock Purdy leads them down the field in a mannerism to where the score just didn't give them more points, but it kind of sealed the deal. And I go, okay, I need a sports cigarette from the simple fact of, I mean, man, that roller coaster was up, it was down, Evan, but when it was all said and done, it was a good ride, and now it's put you in a position, and Niner fans, I don't know if you go make your hotel reservations and cancel them for Vegas or whatnot, but you do think about that, because if they handle business, you're going and you're going to be there.
Airbnbs are going fast. They are going fast in Las Vegas.